This podcast is for support and inspiration only. It is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or care team about what's right for you.
And that was something that absolutely threw me for a loop because I thought I was going to be like, yay, I'm losing weight and I'm super happy. And that just did not happen for me, that attachment to food. But I literally mourned it like it was a friend that I lost after surgery. I didn't know myself. I literally just lost 100 and something pounds. I lost the equivalent of another person. I didn't physically know who I was. I was like, she's not me.
And I was confident. Oh, she's so diva. She has so much confidence. Like, good for her. Now I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
That is attitude. But because I'm smaller now, I'm a little. Ooh, you feisty. I said.
Weight loss would fix everything. Instead, Crystal mourned food, lost herself, and faced a world that suddenly saw her differently. Let's jump right in.
What part of your journey was a little bit unexpected and raw for you?
I'm definitely going to say it was the emotional roller coaster, the hormonal roller coaster that I went on after having the weight loss surgery because, you're losing weight so fast. And, even though before surgery, pre-op, you go and you see what a psychologist, at least here in America, I'm not sure what they do when they go to Mexico, but you hear my insurance required me to see a psychologist and they talk to you about stuff like, how you feel, but they don't really prepare you for the fact that you might experience an emotional roller coaster based off of the fact that your hormones just change so much with drastic weight loss. And that was something that absolutely threw me for a loop because I thought I was going to be like, yay, I'm losing weight and I'm super happy. And that just did not happen for me. The emotional stuff, the mourning of food, like I mourned food. And I didn't realize that I had that attachment to food, but I literally mourned it like it was a friend that I lost after surgery because I couldn't comfort myself with it anymore. If food was making me uncomfortable now. And being uncomfortable was uncomfortable, Also, the fact that, like, as a woman and as a wife, and I don't know how we can put this, but my libido completely went cold after surgery because of the hormonal like influxes and stuff. It just went cold. And I'm married. And that was something I wasn't expecting because it was nobody ever told me.
Because he ready. He see you like, oh, let's do this. And he just like, bruh.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
But that was nobody told me about that. Nobody had said you may experience changes in the bedroom. Everybody like, oh, listen, you're lost weight, you're gonna have extra energy. And that just was not the case for me at all.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying that because a lot of people, when they saw that I lost weight, one of their main questions was, girl, what's your husband think? Like, I'm fish. And I'm just like, man, that's the last thing I'm worried about.
Right. Right.
Bad. Because it's almost kind of like they're assuming that you're just like ready to go now. And that's not the case.
Right.
I didn't realize that my surgery had that type of impact. I was trying to figure out what was going on with me. I thought, I'm going through menopause or something. Like, I thought it kickstarted something I wasn't ready for.
Yeah. I mean, literally, I went to my PCP and I was like, you guys have to run a hormonal check, like run my blood work because something's wrong with me. Something is wrong. And I was like you, I was like, am I going through early menopause? Like, what's happening here? Because things changed drastically. And those were the morning of food and the change of my libido was probably the biggest one that I can say definitely wasn't touched on with my doctor. And I tell my doctor all the time, like, why didn't you tell me about this? Why didn't we talk about this? And he said, people experience the surgery differently. And I'm like, well, this needs to be up in the forefront, especially
if everybody's experienced it, then it still needs to be said.
Yes. Absolutely.
So you said one major lesson you've learned is that weight loss doesn't automatically fix how you feel about yourself. Can you please go into detail about that for us?
So yes, weight loss does not change how you feel about yourself. Like I said before, I thought I was going to be super excited, happy because now I've lost this weight and I'm in this body that I've wanted for so long. I've wanted to lose weight. But the thing that I experienced was I didn't know myself. I literally just lost 100 and something pounds. I lost the equivalent of another person. I didn't physically know who I was. I was like, she's not me or I'm not her. It was just a weird, it was very, it's been a battle, honestly. Still, I still deal with it now. Like, I don't um always see myself as the person I am now. I see myself sometimes as the woman who was 304 pounds. I'm still going off and buying clothes in the plus size section when I get home, some things, falling off of me, or just going straight to buying elastic pants, because that's what I had been used to. But I thought it would make me a happier person. And I'm not saying that I'm not happy at all, but it wasn't the weight loss. It was a change that I had to do within myself. It definitely wasn't the weight loss. I had to give myself understand. I have to give myself grace. I have to give myself understanding. And I also had to start holding myself accountable too. And if like that was the biggest thing, because I wasn't really holding myself accountable for the decisions I was making as far as my food intake. It was just like, hey, it's there. I want it. I'm going to get it. Not thinking like, hey girl, you're getting really overweight. You're getting really big and you're unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that doing the inner work is something that weight loss surgery or any type of weight loss, it's not going to do it for you. If you're thinking that, once I lose weight, I'm going to be this person, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to do this. No, you have to start pre-surgery. You have to start now working on yourself.
Because, like you say, you get to a certain point in life, like, okay, this is it. I'm plus size. This is the life I'm living, and you kind of almost like you don't want to accept it, but you feel like this is just the way it is. So once you came to that conclusion, and now you've accepted this person, and then a year later that person's gone, and it's just like, what am I doing now? Like,
Right. Who am I now? Oh, yeah, not the cute big girl. Exactly. And I thought that losing the weight would be an instant like, oh my gosh, this is what I've wanted for so long. And then you get it and you're like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can handle this because things change. Like the world treats you differently. When you've been heavy to now losing weight, the world treats you completely different. And, the line of work that I do, I was in front of attorneys, in front of title officers, and, they didn't treat me seriously. And I have years of knowledge of this stuff. They weren't treating me seriously because I was like supposed to be like the funny big girl, you know? Then now when I go into the offices and everybody's changed, everybody's different. They're like, "Oh, Crystal, what do you expect? Or what do you think?" And it's just like, wait a minute. Where was that energy before? Because you definitely weren't giving it to me. And the world is, it is what it is, but you have to be prepared for that. That's part of that whole mental journey, the whole inner work. You have to be prepared for the world to treat you different.
I'm scared to go to the gas station at night now. I'm not even gonna lie.
Mhm.
Like at 380, nobody was gonna grab me. No one's gonna snatch me. I'm good. Come get me if you want to. Now you can. I'm tiny. You could come get me. Yeah. So it's like at the night, I don't like go to the gas station anymore. It's just like I'm scared. So we think about confidence, and now you are accepting and learning this new Crystal. Where are you now with that? Or are you still trying to figure it out?
I actually can say it's like a mixture. Like sometimes my confidence level is extremely high and I'm walking with my head held up high. And other days I feel like I want to just, like hide because I'm like, oh, now I have like loose skin on my arms and now I have this loose skin around my stomach and, things that I see that maybe somebody else doesn't, but because it's me, it's like, okay, now I'm dealing with, let me try to hide my arms or let me, figure out a way to try to stand taller so I can had my, sagging stomach. But I think it's definitely a mixture. Confidence comes. There was times where I was super confident as a big girl, 300 pounds, confident. But now I think it's just a mixture because I'm still trying to just get used to her. I'm still trying to used to this new me,
Mhm.
because I've been that other person for so long, trying to get used to the new me, trying fit in. I shouldn't even say fit in, trying to stand out instead of being in the back and in the corners and the back of the room, not wanting anybody to really pay attention to me because I don't want anybody to see how big I am. And I had said something before, like being the weight that I was, to be big and invincible is how I felt. I felt
Mhm.
large and invincible at the same time. So now
Mhm.
that I'm smaller, I'm like, let me see if I can stand out in the crowd. Let me see if I can make a way for myself. But I still deal with a lot of confidence issues because it's literally just trying to get used to my new body. I mean, that's what it's just it's just crazy because sometimes I feel like I'm still the old girl, the old 300-pound girl. But then other times I'm like, girl, you're 169 pounds, like
Mhm.
put that dress on, do this, But it's definitely a mixture of feelings and it changes by the day. And I know that might sound psycho, but it literally does.
No. This is real, y'all. Like when I'm like me and you are mirroring in experiences because it's like when I was bigger and I was confident, oh, she's so diva. She has so much confidence. Like, good for her. Now I'm a bitch.
Yeah.
That is attitude. But because I'm smaller now, I'm a little, ooh, you feisty. I said stuff I said when I was big, but it was funny as a big girl. It'd be like it was almost like kind of like Nikki Parker kind of thing. Like, hi, say, but now it's just like Omarosa.
Yes.
It's still me. I have not changed. Y'all the one that like interpreting stuff different now. I need.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. I feel that one. That right. I just said that to one of my really good girlfriends the other day. And I was just like, the things now, like when you say it,
Mm-hmm.
like when I was in a title office one day, and I was just like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because I'm just being just regular, just a normal day. Just I'm not laughing and smiling and trying to, you know, make everybody not see me as this huge person. I was just having a regular day, and they're like, "Are you okay?" Like, yes, I'm fine. I'm normal, but you know, they don't know how to handle that. Some people don't. Some people don't. Not everybody, but some people just don't know how to handle you as as a smaller version.
It's easier if they like meet you now and never knew you, but I find the ones who knew you before, it's like an adjustment for them too. They got to figure it out.
Right. Absolutely.
Did you experience any complications or setbacks post-op? And how did you handle them mentally and physically?
Mm. Mm, So yes, I had complications. I was one of those unfortunate lucky ones, I should say sometimes. Um, because my surgeon, phenomenal surgeon, like very great. He has no bad history. Um, I went into surgery. I came out of surgery and I was immediately in pain. Like I couldn't breathe. People talk about the gas pains, like, oh, it's a gas pain. That's not a gas pain. I don't know what that was, but I felt like I couldn't breathe. Um, that's eventually subsided, once I was home. But I realized like I couldn't drink anything. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't hold food down. I could take sips of stuff, but I wasn't able to hold it down. And I talked to my doctor. I was like, is this normal? And my PCP. And they're like, your body's just getting used to your new stomach and it's just trying to figure things out. You may have some intolerances. And I'm talking about like water. I couldn't hold water down. I couldn't the protein shakes, none of that. And so I went to the hospital, the emergency room that was close to me because I had my surgery about an hour and a half away from where I live. And I went to the emergency room close to me and I was trying to explain to them, I said, something's not right. Something's not right. And of course, they were like, well, you just had surgery. We're going to do a scan to make sure you don't have like a leak in your stomach. So they did that. And they were like, oh, no, everything came back fine. And I was just like, man, something's not right. I kept telling my husband, like, I don't feel like my body is doing what it's supposed to do. And when I say I can hold food down, I literally couldn't. I was going to get IVs every week because I couldn't hold liquids down. I was put on Zofran, which is the anti-nausea medicine, because I literally felt nausea from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. It was so bad that I didn't have days, like nausea was just normal to me at that point. And I'm talking about like 2, 3 weeks out, I was still very nauseous. And it was to the point where I didn't remember what it felt like to be normal, to not be nauseated, to be not be nauseous. And so I went back to another emergency room. I went to a different emergency room because I was like, you know what, maybe that doctor didn't do something. Well, they did another scan. They were like, no, we don't see anything, blah, blah. I'm like, what is going on? I've never heard of anybody not having some sort of leak or something like that, but they're still like not being able to hold down food. And it was constant vomiting. And I'm sorry, sorry people out there, but it was that. It was constant vomiting. And finally, I called my doctor, who's about an hour and a half away. And I said, listen, something's not right. I'm not feeling good. I can't hold any liquids down. He said, Crystal, you should have already called me. I was afraid to call him. I don't know why, but I was afraid. He said, you should already call me. He said, come on up here to the hospital that I had the surgery in. I went up there. They did a scan. They were like, you have a post-surgical hematoma on your surgical line. And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, it's in fact, they're like, how did you get here? I said, I drove myself. My blood pressure was so low that the nurse was like, girl, that was so dangerous. You should not have driven yourself. I had been functioning like that for so long. Like I said, it started to feel normal. And I was admitted to the hospital and I stayed there for about 5 days on antibiotics, on all types of medications, getting different scans. They thought they were going to have to do surgery again to get the hematoma, but it eventually, my body absorbed it. But that wasn't the end of my complications. Like you would think, okay, well, that should have solved it. No, I still was experiencing the nausea. I was still experiencing not being able to hold down food. And we couldn't figure it out. And this went on for 6 months. And when I say I was going to different doctors and getting blood work done, nothing was coming back. I still don't have answers as to what was causing that issue with the nausea and not being able to hold down food. But then my doctor, he said, let's take a look at your gallbladder. And let's take a look at your gallbladder, Crystal. He took a look at my gallbladder. I had gallstone. And, because one, I wasn't eating hardly anything and you're losing weight so fast. So that's another thing that's not talked about a lot in the community is the fact that you might want to get your gallbladder.
You want to be a slow loser, people.
Yes.
You do that fast weight loss,
Yes.
your body can't react to it. Why you just like, I only lost a pound? Good. Let your body heal a little bit.
Right. I had lost like 90 pounds by January. Like in 6 months, I lost like 90 pounds. And finally, he was like, yeah, we're just going to take that gallbladder. You don't need it. So as soon as they took the gallbladder, I kid you not, I woke up from surgery and instantly felt better. So even though I don't have like a medical diagnosis because like why the nausea was there, I do believe that it was a part of the gallbladder at some point. Maybe I had gallstones pre-surgery that I didn't know about, but immediately afterwards, I was able to eat food, drink water, and just live my life. When I say I had nausea so bad, I was on Zofran. Then the Zofran wasn't working because I was throwing it up. So then they said, "Oh, we're going to do the sublingual anti-nausea." That didn't work. So then, unfortunately, they were like, "We have to do suppository anti-nausea medicine," and I was just like, "Yeah." But I mean, it was really a lot of complications in the beginning, and it made me regret having the surgery. It made me regret having it because I was just like, I went from at least being able to comfort myself with food before, and when I wasn't feeling okay, to now I can't eat. I'm sick. I'm a burden on my family because that's how I felt because they were taking care of me because I had no energy because I wasn't getting any calories in hardly,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I regretted having the surgery. I was mad at myself. I was so angry at myself for having a complication and being sick. But once I got better, January 17th was when I believe I had my surgery January 17th. And that was the day where I was just like, huh, this is what it's like. I feel normal again. I had been not normal for 6 months. And now
Mm.
like, okay, now you can start.
This is hitting home. Go ahead and follow the show. And if you haven't already, join the Facebook group Bariatric Paths, Your Journey, Your Tribe. You can also sign up for the email list at bariatricpaths.com for updates and event info.
I have another question before we go on because you brought up some other stuff because
About to get juicy.
don't- I know, right? Juicy. No, so when you said like you were mad at yourself because you had these complications and this was your decision. So literally there's no one else to blame. At what point did you forgive yourself?
I think when I realized that, doing inner work and coming to the realization that, I had the surgery with every intention to become a better mother, a better wife, better friend. It's when I realized that I had to give myself, like I said, I had to give myself grace and say, Crystal, you're upset with yourself for something that you like. I couldn't prevent. I didn't know I was gonna have a complication after the surgery. Like I didn't plan on it. This wasn't something. I wasn't out here like, oh, I'm gonna go out here and start doing drugs. It wasn't. It wasn't anything that I necessarily did to make me upset with myself. Yes, I had the surgery, but the complications and the fact that I realized, I'm gonna say this: my husband and I having a talk and me being candid and open with him, letting him know like I felt like a burden. And him assuring me like, no, you're not a burden. I love taking care of you. I love being here for you. That's when I realized like, okay, well, maybe you could just be a little bit easier on yourself, girl. Maybe just
That's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man.
he is. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but you know what? He's been a huge support. He's been a huge support. And he really wasn't in the beginning. Like when I said I was gonna have surgery, it was like, nope, nope. What if something happens to you? I'm gonna be here with all the kids,
Mm.
but and that's another thing is because I didn't have his support initially. I did not. So when you're going through this and you're truly alone, it's hard when you don't have anybody to bounce things off of because part of the work that I needed to do was also work on my marriage. Work on my marriage and work on communicating with my husband and him communicating with me and not being, once he wasn't the least bit of supportive. And I talk about girl when I say he was just like, yeah, I don't think you should have it. That to me in my mind was like, I'm against it.
I want you to stay fat. You're
Yeah.
so
He didn't say that, but that's what I took it as.
that's what you heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Having the communication with him and, opening up our communication and with each other and him just letting me know like it's okay. We're here to take care of you is when I realized like it's okay. You don't have to be angry at yourself anymore. You don't have to be upset for having the surgery because you want to have a better life. It's okay to kind of be selfish. Like, and that's what it was. Like, it's okay to have had the surgery because you wanted it for yourself because I was so used to doing things for everybody else, doing things for my children, doing things for my family, doing things for my husband. I wasn't doing anything for myself. And then when I did decide to do something for myself, then I end up with 6 months of complication, you know? So it took a lot of mental work, a lot of inner work to forgive myself for even feeling that way, for feeling upset and angry. Like, girl, you've gone through so much. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be things that just aren't going to go the way that you thought they would.
Girl, I'm gonna have to bring you back.
I would love to come back. I would love to come.
Okay, I have another question. But what are some old habits and mindsets did you have to unlearn to move forward
Ooh,
in your health and your journey?
I'm gonna say eating quickly, eating fast. Before your plate was in front of you, you eat, and you don't even realize how fast you're eating. Like you don't realize how you're eating, but you eat fast and you eat a lot. Like for me, at least, I was like, you see, like how on like the little cartoons when they had the spaghetti and the whole plate ends up on that,
On the Walmart.
and I shoved it down my mouth. And you have to learn how to take your time, slow down, and eat your food and chew your food. That was something I had to unlearn. I still deal with sometimes eating quickly because it's either I'm in a rush or I was so hungry and I just decided to eat very quickly and now I'm, not feeling well. But I think like taking your time, pacing yourself, eating, and not eating for comfort. I had talked about this a couple of days ago on social media. I said I couldn't sleep for the last few nights. I've been struggling with sleep. And normally before I had surgery, what I would do is I would go to the kitchen and get some food and make myself full because I knew once I got full, I could go to sleep. And so I was like, I literally was laying in the bed. I was like, I'm about to go to the kitchen and see what's in there for me to eat. And I had to realize, like, girl, no, that wasn't right. What you were doing before. Remember, you said you had a unhealthy relationship with food. You're about to fall that unhealthy part,
Mhm.
So what I did was I just went and I got some water. And even though I didn't eat food, I'm still realizing that that sensation of feeling full is still something that I'm dealing with. Since it's feeling full to feel a little bit of comfort, even though it's uncomfortable, it's still something that I'm dealing with. But definitely,
Yeah.
I would say one of the things that I've needed to unlearn was slowing down and eating my food at a very slow pace and not
Mhm.
take huge bites because my food's not going anywhere. The same food that's on my plate now is gonna be there if I slow down. It's nobody's coming to take my plate. We're not we're not in the jail yard right now. Nobody's coming.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Like because I'm neurodivergent. I have autism. And so I had to realize like food is a lot of sensory and triggers for me. And what you just said about that feeling full, I believe that was a sensory thing that I was holding on to. Cause I still feel like even if I'm not full of food, I want to drink. Just drink, drink, drink until I have that feeling like that. I never even thought about like feeling full can be can need something like that. Wow. That's a STEM. That's a STEM, guys, for the autism world. Feeling full could be a STEM.
So you're a mom, a student, a
Mm,
wife, and a woman.
mm.
How do you manage all of those roles while still prioritizing your health and your healing?
It's definitely a balancing act. It's definitely a balancing act. Um, some of the things that I need to do, I take time like for as far as like with my children, I'm able to do a lot more with them now that I am at a smaller weight and I have more energy now. So I take time to do physical things with my children. The student part, I still think I'm crazy for going back to school, but I'm trying to balance that as well as, being a wife and a mom. I'm gonna say incorporating just like a lot of physical activities into my day because sometimes I don't have the ability to go work out. And I'm not gonna even lie, like I do not work out every day. I try to do a lot of more physical activities, but I literally don't have the time to go to a gym every single day. But incorporating going on walks with like with my children and taking my dog out on a walk to take care of myself. Um, you know, my husband and the kids, they just went on a walk not too long ago and I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm not going because I didn't feel like it. Some days you just don't feel like it. And I was like, girl, get your butt up and go outside and get a walk in. So they left one direction and I left and took my dog on a walk in another direction just because like you have to take care of yourself before you could take care of other people because if you're not doing well, yeah, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. And, literally, it's a balancing act, honestly. Some days, some people get less. Some days, my children may get less than my husband. Some days, my husband may get less than my schoolwork. It's I got to be real with myself and I got to be honest. Like, I can only do but so much in a 24-hour realm. Like, if I start pushing myself way too much, then I'm not good for anybody. I'm not good for any of. So it's just all about just um, prioritizing my health and figuring out ways to incorporate the people around me into my world. I know that sounds selfish, but that's how it is. Like, I have to figure out ways to incorporate everybody into my world because if I don't, I'm not going to be any good for anybody because I'm going to just be stretched too thin in too many different directions, if that makes any sense.
Yes. One thing I've learned in this whole journey, balance does not mean equal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something you have to accept. Balance doesn't mean equal. Like you said, you give what you can, when you can, to who needs it most at that moment. But it's not always going to be the same every day. It's not always going to look the same every day. But sounds like you're balancing it the way it needs to be balanced for you.
I'm trying. Now, about the school stuff, baby, I don't know. They got me.
That's a little low on the totem pole.
They got me this semester. I'm ready to, like, yeah.
What are you going to school for?
So I'm going to school for just business administration, but this semester, I don't know, like my professor just decided to spaz out on me and just give me tons and tons and tons of work and projects. And I'm like, what? Where did this all come from? Yeah. Been like this, but now all of a sudden it's like, but anyway,
You did that towards the end.
and group projects for adults. I don't think that they should have them. And
It should be illegal, y'all. It should be illegal to make work with an adult. Okay, so what are some non-scale victories you celebrated that made you realize how far you've come?
oh, girl, I'm gonna say crossing my legs. When I first crossed my legs, and I just like sat down on a chair and I just crossed my legs and unintentionally. And when it happened, it was just like I looked down, I was like, girl, you just crossed your legs, honey. Like, you just crossed your legs. And that was like super big for me. And I'm gonna tell you something else that is crazy. And it's may not be funny, but it's funny to me now. Not having my shoes cricked over on the sides. That's like us.
And where they lean,
Girl, you
where they have the lean.
some big girl right there, girl. You know how many shoes? I had to actually spend money on like expensive shoes, like flats. I had to buy the $200 flats just so they last longer than 3 months.
Yeah,
You hit.
yeah.
I'm gonna go get some cheap shoes now. That is true, girl. Yes, I'm so.
Yeah, those were like, and I think that we need to celebrate those non-scale victories because I tell people like the scale it can be the biggest deterrent and liar to you, because I was getting on the scale at one point and I wasn't losing anything. I wasn't losing anything. However, I was putting on pants and those pants weren't fitting anymore. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So the scale's telling me like I'm not losing any weight, but my pants and my clothes are telling me like something's going on. Like maybe you're shedding inches somewhere else or it's being redistributed somewhere. I don't know. But the non-scale victories are going to get you through those days when you get on that scale and there's a plateau and your scale's just not going anywhere. And you have to sit back and remember like, oh yeah, listen, I can cross my legs now. My shoes aren't cricked over. They ain't tied on the side. All of those things. You have to think of those non-scale victories on days where that scale is. I'm telling you, like, I don't like the scale. I don't like it. It's not my friend. And it's there and I go on it probably maybe like once a month now. I'll get on the scale. And it's only just to see if there's any difference. Like just to see where I am. But the scale's just too intimidating for me. And it doesn't tell the whole story.
It doesn't.
So this is part 1. We got to come back for part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm going to tell you guys about my plastic surgery journey that's coming up. So, yeah.
See, yeah, we gotta come back. So, what is something you would like to tell the listeners who may be still on the fence of taking that first step?
To take the step whenever you are ready. Don't push yourself as you think that it's going to change who you are physically and it will just instantly make you happy. You have to do the inner work prior to having the surgery. And also, you have to do the physical work. You have to learn how to eat slower. And I tell people this all the time when they ask me about this surgery. Learn how to eat at a slow pace and take smaller bites prior to having the surgery. Because once you have the surgery and you're still trying to eat those daggone big bites or take big gulps of drinks and stuff like that, it's not gonna work. It's gonna hurt. You know?
Ask Jesse.
Yeah.
Wait a second. See? That's not, see what had happened was.
Take the precautions, not the precautions, but take the necessary steps that you're gonna need for after surgery, but do it before surgery. Learn how to eat a smaller, slower pace. Start using baby utensils prior to surgery. I'm big on that. Like get a baby spoon. Start eating with a baby spoon to see if that's something that you'll be, to get yourself used to that. Because after surgery, you're gonna have like that liquid diet phase or clear foods phase, then purees. You're not gonna be able to have big sips and gulps of stuff. So also the to be kind to yourself. To be kind to yourself. I know it's very hard when we realize like, dang, we're at this point now where we're so unhappy, so big, and we just feel like we've let ourselves down. But you have to be kind to yourself and give yourself grace and understanding and know that you're making the necessary steps to get to where you want to be. Also, I think that if I could go back and tell myself anything prior to this surgery, is that it's going to be okay to have setbacks. You will recover. You will be okay. And then also, it's okay to let go of that relationship with food. It's okay to let go of that bad relationship with food. I know she's been your friend, food been your friend for so long, but it's okay to let it go, to let that relationship go.
Yep. My mom thought it was morbid, but I had a food funeral. She's like, "Don't call it that." I said, "No, she got to die. She got to die."
That's real, right?
So at the end of every episode, we always do a My Journey, My Business moment where we ask our guests to kind of share something that might not be according to the rule book or status quo, but it's something you do during your journey to keep you sustained and it's your business. So you're going to do it. So what would you like to share as your moment of truth?
I'm going to say that I still have snacks. You know what I'm saying? Like I still have snacks. I still eat stuff that most people will be like, you shouldn't eat that. I still eat it. I just don't eat it all the time, and I eat very little of it. But I still have snacks. I definitely do. So I
Ask Jesse. Don't ask because I already know what you're about to ask. Jesse doesn't know what kind of snacks. What kind?
No, it wasn't. That wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. I promise you that wasn't the question.
Okay.
You want to know what the
Yeah.
What different varieties of Little Debbie's do you have in your house right now?
Oh, why you shooters?
different and Jesse, you ain't just
I want to know what's in your hidden snack pantry. That's what I want to know.
well. Listen, I'm gonna blame my children. So I'm gonna tell you what we have. We have fudge rounds, Star Crunch,
She got the good ones, y'all.
Cosmic Brownie. They actually have stuff that I'm really not that fond of, like the Star Crunch and
Yeah, okay, I'm with you then. Okay.
yeah,
And that Cosmic Brownie can go too.
yeah.
The new version not good. The old school ones that we grew up in was better, but continue.
All of those are bad. The fudge round is okay.
So I'm not, for us to have that, I'm not tempted with that stuff right there.
Yeah.
But still go out and buy myself something if I want to. And I think that people need to understand and that it's okay. Like, I don't know why the food of the weight loss community tells people like you shouldn't eat sugar ever again. Like, you're gonna
Girl.
smash, you're gonna smash sugar. You figure out, like, it's about accepting accountability and discipline. You have to have it in life. And restricting, like I've said something before, going from one bad habit relationship with food because you're overeating it, and then having the surgery and going to another bad relationship because now you're afraid to eat food, that's not healthy either.
Still got a dynamic.
Yeah, you have to have a balance there, and it's okay to have a snack. It's okay to indulge in that every once in a while. Now, not every day, but every once in a while. But that's my secret right there. I mean, it's now it's out there in public, but like I had to do what I had to do, and
Yeah.
that helped.
This is how you kind of think of it. Like if you have an ex and you see that ex a year later, you still mad and you still can't be around that ex, you ain't over it. You're not over him if you still upset. So if you really over food and have dealt with your food, you can have a bite of some brownie and move on and not lose your mind. Because if it's still triggering you, you're not healed yet. You got
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. So
I'm not healed.
don't do it.
We working on it, Jesse. We working on it.
Get your protein. Protein.
I'm not healed yet. I got to stay on my journey a little bit longer.
Oh yeah.
Don't put me in front of some of my favorite foods. I'm not healed yet. Nope.
Well, Crystal, where can people find you on social media if they want to continue to get this like realest talk we've had yet? Like, I love this conversation. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you guys can find me on TikTok, and I believe I'm VSG Chrissy or Chrissy VSG. I'm so sorry. I should probably know that, right? I should know that.
We'll put it in the show notes. Don't worry.
And yeah, and I love talking and interacting with people in our bariatric community because having somebody there to talk to, even if you don't know them, actually found a lot of support from people who I've never met in my life on social. And yeah, I'm always here.
We'll definitely see you again, though. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Yes, thank you guys so much. You guys have a wonderful day.
Before you go, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button and share this with someone walking their own path. Join the Facebook group Bariatric Paths, Your Journey, Your Tribe, and sign up at bariatricpaths.com to get all the details on upcoming events, support, and more. We're in this together. Go out there and crush it. This podcast is for support and inspiration only. It is not medical advice. Always talk to your doctor or care team about what's right for you.